Will's asking about what about dancing, Tai Chi dancing, and he's got shaman style there. I'm not sure how to comment on that, but essentially, like being able to fill the body up and then move it under load to help train the memory retention of the feeling of energy, perhaps is what he's pointing at. Because obviously, when you're moving in Tai Chi, you're also massaging internal parts and things like that. But then there's a friend of mine who I taught how to build the ball, and he goes to dance raves and he's like, hey man, that thing you showed me, I build the ball, I pour, breathe it, I'm full. He says, it's changed my whole experience. Now that could be for someone even who's been doing just basically forms, and then all of a sudden they learn how to pour, breathe, and pack the body, and it takes their Tai Chi to the next dimension. So I don't know. Can you guys share anything on this that you like? Or
it's actually I was thinking about practice that we did the other day. I've done a lot of ballet when I was young. So okay. I from when I was 6 till my 30th, I did ballet every week. And we were doing partner training last week, and I had some trouble with the concept, like, well, when one part moves, every parts move, or how do you say it?
Yeah, one part moves, all part move.
Yeah, exactly. And then because I was, am I doing my legs right? And then I started to concentrate on my legs, and then I forgot my arms, and then he was like, "How do you do the ballet?" And I was starting to do a routine of ballet, and then it's the same concept.
Same principles.
Same principles there. Because when you do one part moves, you say it again.
Yeah, I stumble over these things as well. But yeah, one part moves, all part moves. It brings it back to the concept of elastic body. It brings it back to the elastic the fascia. So how do you unify the body? And now this is an entry into energy work as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's how, and of course in dancing or martial arts, it's about structure, right? That's the foundation of it. It needs a structure to build on. So yeah.
And I think for dancing, for me, because I was like 3 years old. This is the story my mom always tells everybody about me. Like when I was 3 years old, I asked my parents, I want to go to ballet lessons. And I don't know where I picked it up, but there was something about it. I think same with the music and stuff we were talking about earlier. And my mom said, you can go to ballet class when you're 6 years old. And so she said, you didn't mention it at all in those 3 years, but you turned 6. On that day, you said, okay, now I want to go to ballet lesson. And it's ever since I danced. So for me, there was such a freedom in the movement and the music. In those moments of dancing, there was such an openness, such a connection. And I think later on, I had no other means to go there than the dancing. And so doing the practice and going into Qigong and Hermetics later on, now I have another way of reaching the levels, going into this mental space that beforehand, that was dancing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think for everything that we do, there's a physical aspect, there's a vital aspect, there's an astral aspect where there's expression, there's a feeling to it, and of course there's the mental body always involved. So if you think about dancing or martial arts or playing the guitar, even for playing a guitar, there's an elastic thing going on. There's muscle memory, etc. But what we call muscle there is actually fascia. It's actually, you program your body and there's an elastic thing involved. I mean, it's not just gripping with muscle, there's a sensitivity there, but there's also a feeling of expression that wants to come out, right? So with all these things, talking about dancing, Tai Chi, everything we're doing, there's always these aspects. That's why this training is so fantastic, because we go through all these frequencies. We explore them and we understand them better. We understand ourselves better. We understand ourselves from what are we, you know, and what is this reality? Because there's not only your physical body, there's a physical reality, and there's also a vital reality, and there's an astral reality. And once you become aware of an astral reality, you're gonna make changes. You're gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna be involved with that anymore. You know, this is you know, but I'm gonna really be involved with that, because this is where my spirit is guiding me towards, you know, because this feels good. You know, you start moving towards things that bring something out of your talent, your true talent, you know, and the things that have a true meaning for you into the world. I mean, that you can only start doing those things, I guess, if you start, well, hitting brick walls with yourself, etc., coming to thresholds and points of no return, where you finally realize, I need to start training. I need to start learning about myself. Who am I? What is this reality? You know, I mean, for a lot of people who are really going into Hermetics training are people who they really hit their heads somewhere, you know, and then they've probably been at it for their whole lives already. You know, they've already been pretty critical and, you know, and sensitive. And so, and how you express it eventually, you know, dancing, Tai Chi, shaman, being a teacher, whatever you do, play the guitar, how you express yourself, always all these plateaus working together. It's an Akashic reality. There's a light, and yeah, you know, I do hope that people, you know, when they walk this path, that they get that, you know, that they really get it, that they start getting it for themselves and understanding what it is they are doing, how they want to express it, and in your unique way. I think this training is really about, the training serves you. You're not training, you're not serving a process here. It's not like, oh, you do every 10 steps, you first have to do all that stuff, and now you know what to, no, it's really being like, oh, this, of course you build a foundation for sure. And I would suggest start with Qigong practice first. Make sure that you have that foundation going into this training. But then it's like, what is the calling? What's happening while you're training? What draws your attention in this training? It's like, where's your spirit resonating to a certain specific exercise? And really start going deep with that, because it's unique for you. So I don't know where this came from, but it just came.
I love it. You know, I think too that, and I've said this before, is as you go through the through the training, notice how existing activities that you enjoy doing start to change. And, you know, that will give you some kind of roundabout metric or progress, or sort of like something where you can notice that it is having some kind of significant effect. Because especially if it's in something you care about, you will tend to be more focused and also more engaged in what you're doing. And so nuance will present itself a little bit more apparently than, say, with less engaging activities. But you can't deny it, you know, especially like, you know, we've been talking about with the paw breathing. When you start activating and nourishing and building awareness of that body, it definitely changes the way you walk. I mean, well, it's all the same with all the training.